Okay, we're back. This is part 2 of the elephant low poly modeling in Blender 3D. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be taking my plane and mostly working in my side view here. And I'm going to basically be selecting a vertex, pressing G, grabbing it, and moving it into place. So I'm going to be starting off doing really low poly modeling here. So not a ton of geometry. Okay, so now that I'm ready, I'm going to select these two vertices here, and I'll press E to get a new segment, and then just keep selecting and pressing G to grab and get a basic rough shape. Notice that I'm loosely following the contour of the elephant's back. You don't have to do a slice of geometry in here to get every little detail, at least not yet. Always reserve that decision for later. And again, you can always reshape just by pressing G. Okay, and alright, now if you decide you need another cut, like I might decide that I want to divide this face right here, that's where you would use, you could use loop cut. So you do Control R, put your mouse pointer, you have to decide you want a vertical or horizontal cut. I want a vertical one, so I'm going to put my mouse towards the top. I'm going to left click, and then you can slide it whichever direction you want. I want it right about here, and then left click to accept. And the reason why I did that is I just want this to be where I'm going to extrude for the leg, or I should say legs, and then this is really going to be for the neck and the head. There we go. Okay. Alright, so that's looking alright. I'm going to look over here in my perspective window, just kind of zoom in, zoom out, kind of take a look at it. It's always good to check on your model from all different sides. Even though this is a two-dimensional representation right now, it's good to do it. I'm also a firm believer in saving right before you move to the next chapter in your modeling. So now that I've got the basic body, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to model a little bit of the head here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll extrude. So again, select the two vertices, bring them out a little bit. Again, you can always add pretty much extra geometry whenever you want. You can use the loop cut tool like I showed before. Okay. Alright, and I think that's good right there. Okay, so next I'm going to extrude this so it actually becomes three-dimensional. Then I will set up the mirror modifier, and then I will go ahead and I'll start extruding the legs, and of course then the trunk, the tusks, and the tail. So, alright, quick save. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to select all by pressing A, and I'm going to extrude in the x-axis. So you can see here in my perspective window, I'm going to press E, I'm going to extrude and give it some depth. These faces that are selected that are on the inside, I'm not going to need those because of the mirror modifier. So I'm going to go ahead and with them selected, I'll press X to delete, and I'll say that I want to delete the faces, and now it's hollowed out and empty. Okay, looks good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and apply the mirror modifier. So I'm going to drag out my panel over here just by left clicking on the border line over here. I'm going to go to the wrench icon, go to add modifier, and choose mirror. Now you'll notice that in my perspective view, you'll notice it looks like it's flipped. I'm going to pull it back. There we go. So this is really what I want. I want my geometry on the positive x side and the mirror modifier on the negative x side, and you can see it's the y-axis is going right through the middle. Okay, so if I put them together like this, they will eventually overlap, and you'll see they'll go through each other. So generally what you want to do is you want to turn on, to prevent that, you want to turn on a feature called clipping. So over here on the right, you can see it's mirroring on the x-axis, and I want to turn on clipping. And when I turn on clipping and I go ahead and grab it and move it on the x-axis, you'll see that it joins. Now if you keep pulling it apart, you'll notice that it does rip. But if you put it together, let go, and then try to pull it apart, you'll now notice the clipping is working, and now it's stuck together, going right down the middle. It is in fact one. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's set up now. We're ready to extrude and start doing the good fun stuff. So I'm going to call it here, this is part 2, and in part 3 we'll start extruding those legs. So I'm going to go ahead and save it here, and I will see you in the next part.